Time for another meal prep video. I've costed it this time, so you've got 5 days worth of meals, 3 meals a day for under £8. All the costing will be on my WordPress if you want it, and it also gives you like measurements and everything for what I am cooking. So I'm starting off by cooking some poi lentils, green lentils, French lentils, whatever you want to call them. So I've got those cooking away, and I'm also going to cook some couscous. I'm just cooking it with a stock cube to give it a bit of flavour because I'm trying to use it up. A friend unloaded it onto me and I'm not a huge fan. It doesn't really taste of anything. So I put a stock cube in there, cover it with about half an inch of boiling water, so half an inch over the kind of layer of couscous. Cover it with a plate, and then I just leave it to steam and do whatever it's going to do. So that is the next bit. So those are kind of the two bases for my lunch and dinner. Get them out the way, get them cooked, and also with the couscous, get it cooling down because you don't want to be putting hot things in a tub, covering them, and then they get all kind of sweaty and warm. Next up, I'm just kind of prepping everything that needs to be chopped up. I'm chopping up an onion, which takes far longer than it should do just to get the damn skin off. So I'm chopping that up. I've also got some smoked tofu, some beetroot, and I've got 2 spicy bean burgers. Now, but I should probably tell you what I'm actually going to make. For lunch, I'm going to make a lentil salad with some spinach, some beetroot, and some tofu. So that's the basis for lunch. And for dinner, I'm making shakshuka. Now, I've just got the latest Annie Carlin book, and in there, on the cover of it actually, she makes shakshuka, which is traditionally like a tomato stew, and you crack some eggs in it, and the eggs cook away in like the kind of bubbly, lovely sauce. She's done it with falafel. Now, I'm trying to clear out what I've got in the fridge and freezer before I start buying more, so I'm using bean burgers. So I've just chopped them up, and that will go with it instead of doing the falafel because it's a bloody good idea. I've chopped the beetroot into wedges, and that is going to be going with the lunch. Now, the shakshuka is an onion. I've not followed the Annie Carlin recipe because I've not got all of the ingredients. I'm just doing what I kind of normally do. I've got an onion, some tinned tomatoes, some tomato paste, and some spices. And basically, I'm lazy. You may have noticed this from my videos before. I can't be bothered with like, oh, I'll cook this first and then add that and then I'll stand over. No, the whole point of this meal prep is for it to get all done and dusted and easy. So I just dump everything in a pan together and it still works. It just bubbles away on its own and it's absolutely fine. So with this, again, all the measurements and everything are going to be on my WordPress. Yeah, dump it all in together, stick it over a high heat, bring it up to the boil, let it bubble away and kind of reduce. And because it's like boiling and quite hot, excuse me, it will reduce pretty quickly. So this is just being done while I'm doing everything else. It doesn't take that long. The longest bit is obviously just putting everything in the pan right now. So you've got cinnamon, you've got garlic, smoky paprika, chili, salt, pepper. Just dump it all in the pan and you'll be well away. So yeah, there's a lot of tomato in there, but it does boil down. And also this is making 5 portions. So when it is primarily tomato based, kind of what you want, but there you go, finally. That is it bubbling away there, and just give it a stir every now and then while you're doing everything else and just leave it to it, really. Now, by the time all this is done, my lentils are now cooked. However, idiot here has used 2 of the tubs that I need to put the actual food in to store the tofu and the beetroot. Yeah, wasn't thinking on that one. So what I'm doing here is just mixing up my lentil mix. I've got some frozen spinach that I've just left to defrost. I'm putting a little bit of garlic in there, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. There's the juice left over from the beetroot and I don't want to waste it, so I'm just going to chuck that in with the lentils as well because it will just dress them and they'll soak up that flavour. It's going with beetroot anyway, so, you know, you might as well not waste it. And that's just all going to get mixed up together thoroughly, so you've got a nice mix of everything when you start dividing it into the tubs. So, yeah, speed that bit up because you don't really need to see me kind of stirring for ages and ages and ages. So, there we go, done. So now I need to empty my tubs because, you know, like I say, idiot here has filled them with things. I'm just dividing up the lentils and the beetroot. I keep wanting to say broccoli. Beetroot and the smoked tofu. Now, when I finished doing this, I was like, it's missing something. It just seems like it needs a little kind of bit of something. Originally I was going to put some lettuce with it, but you know, you don't want to chop that up too far in advance because it's going to go all slimy and horrible. So I was just going to put like half a lettuce on the side just to add a little bit every day as and when I need it. But and I'll show you later, I found something else while I was rooting in the fridge. Oh, and the last little bit of tofu there just to eat while I'm doing this. Now onto the dinner. That is the couscous ready to go. It just needs fluffing with a fork and it's all good to go. So that's divided. Now what I'm doing is I'm dividing it and then I am pushing it to one side of the tub, because if you chuck all of the kind of tomato stew on top of it, again, by the time you get to the third or fourth portion, it's going to be soggy and horrible. So push it to one side. That is my finished tomato shakshuka type stew. Try and get it in the tub neatly, unlike me, who's just kind of dropping it everywhere. And yeah, that's it all divided up. Now, what I was going to do was put the bits of bean burger in there to kind of bubble away, but ultimately these are going to be chucked in the microwave anyway to heat up. So they're just going to go super, super soggy and fall apart. So I've chopped them up from frozen and I've put them in there as they are. So hopefully they'll keep their like shape. Breakfast here is a bit of a cop-out. It is some Special K type cereal from Morrison's and some bananas, soy milk. Boom, done. Now, this is the extra bit I found when I was thinking that this needed a little bit of something extra. It is some broccoli that I roasted a couple of days ago with a little bit of Dijon mustard and a little bit of lemon juice. It was from the Forks Over Knives recipe for like a whole cauliflower. I just did it with broccoli because I've got broccoli, it was already in bits, so it's going to be quicker. And that's it. So your breakfast is cereal and bananas. Lunch is a garlic, spinach, lentil mix with beetroot, smoked tofu and the broccoli. And then you've got bean burger shakshuka and your couscous.